At least there is one word that journalists will now be able to use with great certainty. A tussle over the legal definition of the word leading has had Perths spellbound for weeks. And it all started when Channel 9 boasted.
Channel 9, Perth's leading hour of news and current affairs from 6.
A blitz of radio ads was designed to bolster 9's ratings. But Channel 7 was livid. After all, 7 has outrated 9's news and current affairs in the West for years. 7 was so possessive of its leading edge, it sued.
Supreme Court judge will have to decide whether the word leading is misleading when it's used to describe one of Perth's TV news bulletins.
Like everything else in life, it all boiled down to the buck.
7's managing director Kevin Campbell said news and current affairs was the flagship of any television station, and 80% of the station's revenue came from the prime time slots between 6 and 10:30 p.m.
In its defence, Channel 9 challenged the literal meaning of 7's own radio advertising slogan.
Nobody knows like 7 knows, nobody knows.
7's Mr. Campbell was cross-examined on this claim.
Is that literally true? That there is nobody else in the entire world that knows news like your channel?
Mr. Campbell said his staff at 7 believed so.
That's news to us. Channel 9 argued the word leading has...
no particular meaning.
Apparently, the judge agreed. Light and reason flooded in on the English language.
To our courts, where Channel 7 today lost its case challenging Channel 9's right to call itself Perth's leading hour of news and current affairs.
As 9 gloated over the result, it also put its spin on the outcome.
Judge Desmond Heenan ruling against Channel 7, saying that in the phrase Perth's leading hour of news and current affairs, the word leading tends to refer rather to the quality of Channel 9's program than to the number of its viewers.
Channel 7's report showed it was rather miffed.
Channel 7 is likely to appeal a Supreme Court decision dismissing a complaint about rival station Channel 9.
Its report highlighted a different quote from Justice Heenan.
Today, Justice Heenan ruled that because the commercials were fleeting, they were unlikely to mislead the public.
So it wasn't about quality at all. It was all about fleeting moments. As the entire airwaves are full of fleeting moments, it's reassuring to have it judicially confirmed that none of it is likely to have any impact on anyone. But a sour managing director warned that the public interest was at stake.
Channel 7 Managing Director Kevin Campbell said he was disappointed at the decision and that it opened the way to unscrupulous advertising.
Something it would never be party to. 7 is slugging it out with 9 in other markets. In Sydney and Melbourne, 7's news ratings are in diabolical trouble, with Channel 9 well ahead. 7's solution is yet another makeover. In Melbourne, the news used to be delivered straight by old hand David Johnston.
Good evening. Also tonight, inflaming winter fears as work stops at Longford.
According to Channel 7 boss Julian Mounter, the news services look too 1970s. Mounter unveiled the new position to staff in a memo.
You will also see a gradual change of our look, reflecting a brighter, lighter feel to the network.
And here's how they added lightness and brightness to Melbourne's news.
7 Nightly News with David Johnston and Anne Fulwood.
Good evening. Also tonight, here comes the judge. The burger giant caught up in a competition storm.
The main stories, the top sports story and the weather, all before the first ad break.
But joining us now, David Brown. How's the weather?
Well, it's looking a little shaky, in fact, Anne.
In Sydney, the old news was also in for renovation. It already had 2 presenters.
This is 7 Nightly News.
Hello. Also tonight, we talk to the Aussie who's just climbed to the top of the world.
After much anticipation, the Sydney revamp has added colour and movement.
With Ross Symonds and Ann Sanders, this is 7 Nightly News.
Hello and welcome. Also tonight, police praise the lowest speed limit on the F3. They say it's saving lives.
And every night, Anne's got something to say to Ross before the news gets going.
With Ross Symonds and Ann Sanders, this is 7 Nightly News.
Hello and welcome.
With Ross Symonds and Ann Sanders, this is 7 Nightly News.
Hello and welcome.
With Ross Symonds and Ann Sanders, this is 7 Nightly News.
Hello and welcome.
There is the pacey throw to the screen where reporters just metres away in the newsroom are interviewed.
And it's being debated right now in State Parliament. But Helen, Wellings, is it really such a good deal?
Well, Anne, on the face of it, yes. We'd all like to pay far less insurance on our... we'd all like to pay far less on our insurance.
First night nerves aside, is all this an important contribution to the news? 7 borrowed the look from Channel 4 News in England.
Good evening. Amid the bombing and the uncompromising language, there's also a glimmer of hope tonight that peace may not be so far away.
4's News built its reputation on solid journalism and lengthy analysis.
Doesn't understand. What's the consequence of this article?
Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that 7 hasn't followed this aspect. Its news is still pretty lowbrow.
But first, after so many reports about shonky politicians, proof that some are as good as gold. Our nation's deputy leader has sacrificed his career for the sake of his little boys. Just look at this.
Augmented by that distinctive style of labelling people, like Sean Connery, just a humble lowlander. And that man we've seen in Canberra. While for this rugby leaguer, we don't know what his job is, but we know what he did. It's an expensive test for 7. It's not much to do with information. It's a repackaging which boosts the entertainment, not the news.